It's beginning to look
They look
a lot like Christmas. What is going on, friends? It's Rich and Don, Drunk on Broad, episode number 31. 31 episodes of this show, because the only reason I know that is because Don's keeping track. So, Don, thank you for that. What's going on?
You know what, Rich? When I saw someone had put out that it had been a year, and it kind of, it got me to thinking, like, to go back in the kind of annals and some of our stuff to really get an idea of how it worked. And the fact that we've had 31 episodes is incredible. The fact that we're starting to branch out now, I've had a ton of fun doing the putting together the little 2-minute highlight packages.
Nah, dude, they're great. They're great.
Just looking at different ways, and trying to figure out a way for us to do stuff that other people aren't doing. And just I think at the very base of it, just have fun, just having fun with it. So, amen
to that. Adam, what's up? Halloween was busy, my friend. Halloween was winning 2 playoff games for our softball team, me and Nick, and then traveling all over the towns, collecting candy, seeing friends. It was.
You made the tour of South Jersey?
Made the tour of South Jersey. It was beautiful. Don, how was yours?
Listen, this was the first time that we did, my oldest, who's now in, 8th grade, was out walking around with friends without us.
Nice.
My son, I will say, had the best costume that I saw in our entire travels. He was in giant inflatable Indominus Rex.
That's awesome.
And we just had, we kind of walked around with friends. We passed out some beers and, had a good time as adults. And
hell yeah, man.
Kids had good times and came home with a boatload of candy. So it was a win-win for everybody.
We did make out good. Denver Broncos carry Vincent Jr., cornerback, now the Eagles. Traded. We got him for a 6th round pick. How effing crazy is that? I don't actually just know anything about the guy. Expectations are extremely low. But hey, if he comes in and fills the need for our 5th and 6th corner, awesome. I'll take it.
It's a young guy that, you're not that you could have drafted in the middle at the end of the draft last year. That I think there's nothing to hate about it, because there's only upside to gain from it.
That is very true. Before we go any further, we are sponsored by La Terrain Watches. Visit them at la-terrain.com and use promo code DOB at checkout. If you haven't seen their new line of watches, I highly recommend it.
You are missing out.
Beautiful watches, and their warranties are insane. So if you are looking for a beautifully handcrafted watch with a great warranty that is American made and that will ship to you in record time, visit La Terrain Watches. la-terrain.com and use the promo code DOB at checkout. My friends, today is titled Almost Christmas Time. Why? Because it's almost Christmas time. I am a huge Christmas guy, especially now that I have a child. I love it. So we're going to pose the first question, because me and the boys from Fired Up going back at it, going back and forth. Thanksgiving. Yay or nay? I need to hear from you guys on this one. Thanksgiving, yay or nay? And I'm just going to have to start it off. I'm going to say this. Dom, you invited me over? Well, let's do this. And it better be the goddamn best food I've ever had. I am not a hater of Thanksgiving. Actually, I am a hater of Thanksgiving. No, Mike, you get the fuck out of here, Mike. I'm sick of this shit. You are crazy, and I like you, and you got a freaking dart in your neck, man. You got a freaking dart in your neck. But no, my issue with Thanksgiving, I love football. I love the fact that football is on Thanksgiving. I worked in a corporate setting for 7 years. Thanksgiving and the month of November was the worst month for caterings because everybody wanted to do turkey. My boss, being my buddy Tom, one of the best chefs I've ever worked for, the best chef I ever worked for, that dude wouldn't let us do the cheapo Wawa way. where it's just getting the bag and dumping in the thermalizer and pouring out the hot turkey. No. Every week we were getting 7 to 8 cases of French cut turkeys and roasting them off and cutting them down and making gravy and making homemade mashed potatoes and homemade mac and cheese for fucking weeks. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Until Christmas, I was knee deep in turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and it was driving me insane. Yes, go ahead, Don.
I'm gonna take it in a different direction here because I'm on the yay side. So I don't have the experience of the cooking endless amounts of turkey all weekend, all that entire month. What I do remember, like Thanksgiving to me, the one reason why Thanksgiving to me is one of my most favorite holidays, is because it's the one that does not involve any exchange of gifts.
Okay.
It's just around family. It's around hanging out.
You like your family. Good for you, Don. Good for you.
Listen, Rich, I grew up in a very Italian family.
Yes.
So my Thanksgiving experiences are probably very similar to Dom's. We went over to my grandmother's at noon, and we probably had 7 different courses between the pastine soup, and then you go outside and you get a break. And then you come back in, and then there's lasagna, and then you get a break. And then you come back in and you get a salad, and then Thanksgiving. And then dessert. So where I kind of when Don was saying his what was it, the 4 F's of Thanksgiving, the
4 F's.
The 4 F's, the football, the family, the food, and to me it's a time where you can just kind of chill out, and there's no expectation of anything other than to just kind of hang around.
Which is a beautiful thing, because I remember growing up, we always had Thanksgiving at my parents' house.
Okay.
But it was always small. It would always be my grandma, my grandpa on my mom's side, my Aunt Vicky, and my Uncle Sam. Right? Yeah. Uncle Sammy. Yeah. Right? Sammy? Dude, it's been so long. Like they passed a while ago, and they were like in their 70s when I was like a wee little lad. And then they just got old real quick. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a while since like I've actually had like these traditions. I mean, we're talking I'm 32, maybe 25 plus years since we actually had like a Thanksgiving that was like family oriented, very small, like intimate. So since they all passed, you know what happens. Like traditions just kind of fall apart, and then it becomes whatever. So it went from grandpa making all the sweet potatoes that he's not cooking no more. I mean, he's 90. He's 90. He's still alive. He drives. I saw him for my dad's birthday on Halloween. Looks great. Dago Lou. Love you, bud. That's my dude. Dago Lou.
I love that, Rich. I love that the two of your family members that I know are Dago Lou and your uncle who's screaming at Rich Keeley.
Exactly. They're the 2 people that you need to know. You need to know Dago Lou, and you need to know Crazy Uncle Jack. We love them both. God. It is what it is. But it comes down to it. Like all these traditions are gone. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gone.
Yeah.
It went from like after my grandma passed, like we still made lima beans because she would always make lima beans. She would be the only one eating them. But then we realized she'd never even liked lima beans. She was just eating them because she brought them. So it was just kind of like a joke. But then, everything just kind of like fizzles out. It's nothing like sad. I'm like, I hate Thanksgiving because all my family's dead. It's like, no, things happen. But I just don't enjoy Thanksgiving from the cooking aspect. I'm a very big, big T will knows, being in the culinary world. You enjoy making the food, but at the end of the day, I don't want to eat it. If I'm spending 12 hours making this turkey and all these sides, I put it down. And then in 5 minutes, it just gets ripped to shit. And everybody's like, oh, let's just throw it in Tupperware and take it home. It's like, to me, that's not like what that's not what I like out of a holiday. It's not what I like out of my food, especially when
Gotcha.
I'm so like high on it and I make a really mean turkey. I think Big T will, when he watches this, he's going to text me like, bro, I agree. But like, to me, the joy in Thanksgiving is like this much. And that's why I don't like it. That's why I prefer Christmas, because it's, it's almost an instant like gratification holiday. It's like, oh, you sit down, you hold hands. Yep, you say grace, you're thankful for everything, and everybody's like, okay, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go eat, or Uncle Joe's drunk, or, something like that. Just always like, it turns into like more of a chore than it is a holiday, especially for like 3 hours. Like in my family, I understand you did the whole all day thing, but like more of a 3 hours thing. And now we go to my mother-in-law's.
Okay.
It's a great time. I do enjoy hanging out with them. It's no shot against any of them. It's just, to me, Thanksgiving is extremely overrated because maybe it gets lost in between Halloween and Christmas. But to me, I'm like the celebration and like giving thanks. Like I give thanks every day.
Well, and
I also fucking don't like turkey like that. Like it's the
So-
most overrated of the poultries.
all right. So in terms of the food, right?
Yes.
I had like my father-in-law hates turkey, right? So we make him a ham, right? We got this special it's honey, ginger, and 3 different types of mustard, and we put
Ooh.
that on the ham.
Yeah.
So we make him a ham. We make beans. We make a bunch of stuff that we know that we'll eat.
Yeah.
But like, to me, like, if you don't like turkey, don't make turkey.
Yeah.
Like if you like something else, go make something else.
But I got to make it for the 12 other people. That's my whole beat. And I love it because they like, I make a really good turkey every year. Like I take pride in my turkey.
Yeah.
But I also,
And that's hard.
But it's also hard when it's just like, I throw it on the table and everybody's just nom, 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 nom. And it's like, oh, Rich, the turkey was great. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't even take the time. Like, that's what I would be thankful for. Like, be thankful like somebody took all this time out of their day to make you this food, and then you just gobble it down because you're like either so tipsy that you're starving, or you just don't like. That's a chef thing though. That pisses me off.
Listen,
just
having worked in a kitchen too,
You understand all the hard work you put in for 2 minutes.
Understand.
Like it's just like, But my main issue I have with Thanksgiving is it's on a Thursday, and depending where you worked, like Don, you work in a school, you're off on Fridays.
Yeah.
Depending on where you work, you're not off on Black Friday. And then trying to take off on Black Friday, you can't do it. You just can't do it because there's already 3 people off. So you gotta pack up everything that you're doing early to rush home to get to work the next day and be either hungover or miserable, or that night, because some people still have to go in. So my whole thing is just like, to me, is Thanksgiving great? For some people it is, but for me, Christmas can never, ever not come early. So when people are saying, "Oh, don't play your Christmas stuff," but here's the thing, and here's why I say, and Chris, I've never deep fried a turkey because I don't want to be standing outside for 2 hours looking at it. And if you don't do it fully thawed, you will blow up the fucking side of your house.
You'll blow up your entire
if
neighborhood.
you do that. Yeah, and that's the part that sucks, Mike. Like, I get it. You're having a great time, and all of a sudden you got to bounce. When I was younger, I didn't care. Now, it's just like, to me, it is whatever. And Jamie always has to work the next day. And it's just kind of like, I feel like once you're getting into the conversations, 9 o'clock rolls around, everybody's like, oh, y'all got to go to work. But to me, with Christmas, why I love it so much, not only having a child, but you feel like the Christmas magic, the Christmas spirit. And that's the thing that I like the most, because you could be the most down, and I understand holidays are not all the same for everybody. But man, you get a little bit of Christmas spirit in you. Gonna be all right. Is it too early for Christmas, Don?
Having had a child who at one point was obsessively listening to Christmas music year round for 3.5 years straight. Every night we were listening to the same Christmas album to go to bed.
Insane.
I mean, he just liked the music. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like,
Was
sorry, you can't.
Was it Michael Bublé? Was it Michael Bublé?
No, it it was
Great album.
Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr.
Dude, that's not.
Singing Christmas songs.
And I'm not even
right?
mad. That's not bad. It's not Alvin and the Chipmunks or
No.
me getting nothing
So-
for Christmas.
So for me, like, I get the people that are like, oh, you know what? If it makes you happy,
That's what I'm saying.
who gives a shit? Like, if you want to ride around in the middle of June playing Santa Claus is Coming to Town, who gives a shit? But like, I will say, in this house, we have on random days just put on Christmas music because it makes everybody happy. So
It does.
if it changes the mood
does.
and it does something positive for you, go for it. If it doesn't for you and you hate it and you don't want to listen to it until December 20th,
Great.
then don't and wait.
Great.
I don't give a shit. But do I think that the beginning of November or the end of October is too early for the stores to be putting out the Christmas displays?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's egregious.
Because
I agree with you.
you're not giving each
No.
holiday its appropriate slot.
Not giving people a time to like breathe. Like I understand the commercialism behind it. Like I understand that. But
Right.
you have to give the people time to breathe. Like halfway through November is fine. Like stuff was out already when Halloween was out. Like that's too much. Like that's just
It
too
was
much.
almost like, Rich, it's almost now it's like the back to school stuff comes out in the beginning of June. As soon as school ends, the back to school stuff is out like 2 weeks later. And as soon as all the back to school shit gets packed up, it's like
Christmas.
here's our holiday display.
Yeah. Ding ding.
We've replaced the composition notebooks with artificial Christmas trees.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
So no,
Mike, Mike, we're just gonna have words off this podcast, and we're gonna get together, and we're gonna have another segment, and we're gonna discuss actually like good Christmas music. Alvin,
yeah,
shit.
that'll definitely be something to do.
It's on my list, Chris.
I mean, listen,
My list.
some of our favorite family activities are just driving around,
I love
looking at Christmas lights. We go out with family friends out to Longwood Gardens, like doing stuff like that, where it's like it's just stuff that makes you feel good. So
I'm obsessed with Christmas lights. I am if I had the budget and the lights and like the sockets outside, I would my whole house would just be covered. I would be Clark W. Griswold.
I do my best. I don't even touch it, but I do my best. I do try to put out a lot of stuff. Slowly but surely, we've added some of the Nutcracker inflatables.
I like it. I like it.
And normally our day to put it out is on Friday. Like we'll put it out the Friday. Like Thanksgiving's on Thursday.
Yep.
On Friday, normally the kids and I are outside putting that stuff out.
Hell yeah!
Because you only get that little stretch of time to put it out. So we try to get them out, try to get them on, and
working retail does kill Christmas, Adam. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way people act in stores. That's another thing. Christmas Vacation is the best Christmas movie, and it's not even close. Mike, correct. All facts. And that is a yearly movie for me. I could watch it all the time because it's just the best. It's the best. It's so funny. It's so funny.
I love it.
But we're talking Christmas came early, Don. The Eagles we were given a present of a win over Detroit on Sunday.
Listen,
44-6.
if there was ever a present to be had like that, it was. Listen, just like you've heard a million times at work or on the radio or whatever, like, yes, it was the Lions. Yes, they are far and away one of the worst teams in this league. You saw how bad they were. But you also did what you should do to a team that's that bad. You controlled the game the entire time. You were able to
run the ball.
Now,
Gotcha.
if I'm Miles Sanders and I'm sitting at home, I'm pissed. Because I'm like, yeah.
So much fertilizing, Mike.
So
a lot of
so
doodle on
much
that lawn,
nitrogen in
brother.
that soil. But like I'm looking at that and I'm saying, so here's what I do see from one game to the next, right? You saw that they had a little bit of success running the game in this game. They capitalize on that. They see that they're having success and they keep going back to it.
Yep.
So they knew that their offense doesn't have any outside weapons. So I don't know how with this linebacking core that they have that they're able to take away the tight end like they do, but they have done a really exceptional job at taking away the tight end, whether it be Kyle Pitts.
Is playing really well in the slot. I mean, and
Right.
that I think is the one downfall of the coaching staff and the defense last year. Jim Schwartz was Avonte Maddox. Well, and they were thin. Avonte Maddox had to play outside. He's better on the inside, and he's been playing fantastic.
So, and they really only have two weapons, right? You had TJ Hawkinson and you have DeAndre Swift. You were able to take away both of them, and they don't have anything on the outside. So
nothing.
You were. They weren't. There's a reason why they weren't able to do anything, because they don't have any weapons to do anything with.
Agreed.
They took away the two options that they had, and Jared Goff showed exactly who he is.
Yep.
So, you were able to put them in positions where you were able to capitalize on their mistakes. You're able to, that one stretch where they score a touchdown, they get the ball back, they score, and then Detroit gets the turnover. They fumble, they return. They scored 21 points within, I think it was like a 3.5 minute stretch in the game.
The ball.
And I really hope that the creativity that I saw on Sunday, they can kind of expand on. Right?
So
you started to see jet sweeps where you're getting the guys that you have on the outside with speed to get them outside and get them in space.
Yeah.
Listen, as much flack as they got for the wide receiver quarterback throwback play, at least to me, it says we're trying something different.
Yeah.
We're not, you saw Jalen Hurts under center. You saw them run the ball from him under center. So at least we're seeing something different. At least it wasn't the same stuff that we saw for the first 7 weeks. That was legit looked like the most vanilla offense I've ever seen.
Agreed. I mean, I'm just looking at it as, yes, it was Detroit. They ran the ball. Any other takeaways? I have none. You do what you're supposed to do. And
Right.
They didn't have to rely on Hurts. Like, I'm not going to give you a pat on the back for beating probably the worst or the second worst team in football. Yeah, they played the Rams well until the Rams went, okay, we're just going to destroy you now. And the score was a lot closer than the actual game was. And here you saw the Eagles had to do a statement win. So they had to put up 44 points because they had to show, the fan base, hey, we can score. And it's like, okay, well, is this sustainable? Can you keep doing it? Can you do it against good teams? And what is this offense going to look like? Are they going to go back and look at the film and say, hey, we can run on the Chargers? You should be like, yeah, we can run on the Chargers. Is our best chance to win not having Jalen throw the ball 30 times a game? Yeah, it probably is. So what can we do to implement this? Can we keep the jet sweeps with Rager, even though I think Rager's hurt? So I'm not sure what's going to happen to him.
Right, but even if you can get Quez along the line, get the jet sweeps, they get him out in space and get him where he is best, which is utilizing his speed.
I also don't want him getting hit by offensive or defensive linemen and linebackers constantly. So
True.
One jet sweep is good enough for me. I don't need to see him run it 2-3 times because he's going to get killed.
Well, it at least opens up that as a threat to say anytime he goes in motion, they might hand the ball off. So then maybe the next time it's a play action where you fake the jet sweep and then you can turn around and maybe it's a wide receiver screen or maybe it's the tight end that gets out in the flat. Just something that says, hey, we're doing something different.
What happens if they come out this week, Don? What happens if they come out this week and they get the doors blown off them by the Chargers? What do you think that says about this team?
They are who we thought they were.
Don, that's exactly what I had.
I mean, this win, as good as it feels, did you really truly learn anything different?
No.
You still know that you still saw Jalen Hurts struggle to get the ball down the field. You still saw that their best deep option is a ball that gets thrown up and hope they get pass interference.
Yeah.
You still saw him roll out and throw the ball behind Smith to be able to not throw the ball in front of him and allow him to run in space where he has to reach out. He's got to reach behind to catch the ball, and then it slows him down or he gets it swatted out of his hands. I think if you go back and look at some of the drops with Devontae Smith, I think a lot of that would be tied back to the ball not being thrown in a position where he can catch it and tuck and run, where it's more likely that he's probably reaching back to try to get the ball, and he gets it swatted out of his hands.
So I want to talk about this because I think Adam says, you think Sirianni doesn't like Sanders, why he don't run the ball with him? I don't think that he does not like him. Adam, here's what I'm going to say, and it's going to sound maybe goofy to some people, but to those who know, no. So look who came up into the game and had 2 touchdowns. Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
Jordan Howard is Howie's boy. Howie needs to prove points. So Howie's point is, I'm the smartest man. We got Jordan Howard on our practice squad team. If Miles gets hurt, he's a competent back and come in and can take over. Him and Boston Scott.
Yeah.
Gainwell's role didn't change, if you notice that. He kept his old role, which was very strange for how good of a running back he is. And I think he's better than Boston Scott and Jordan Howard. But Boston Scott gets a lot of run, scores a touchdown. Jordan Howard comes off the practice squad, has 11 rushes for 50-something yards.
Yeah, well, they had three guys that had double-digit rush attempts.
Yeah. And, I mean, Gainwell did toward the end of the game. He had 13, but it was for absolutely nothing.
Right.
But here's the thing, Adam. You have a GM in Howie Roseman who is the smartest man in the room. He proved on Sunday that you give Jordan Howard the ball, you win. That, hey, I had this guy on the practice squad. I called him up. He did the job. Two touchdowns. I'm smart. Look what I did. Oh, no, Jalen Hurts can take a back seat on this one. Adam, it has nothing to do with Miles Sanders. It has to do with Howie's ego. You think Kyle Shanahan has an ego on all the things where, I'm going to bench Brandon Ayuk and Eli Mitchell's not our guy and Trey Sermon this and this guy that? Yeah, well, insert Howie into that. Because his guys, if you notice, it's his guys are the ones that get their name called.
Yeah.
All the guys that he brings in, who he makes the decisions for, get the run. I do not think Sirianni doesn't like Sanders. I just know Howie likes Jordan Howard. Howie likes Boston Scott. So
those
against
are
a
all
kitty team, you're going to show off a little bit. Howie was feeling himself. He was in his bag.
You don't need the CSI investigation kit to figure that one out. You can see that his handprints are all over getting his guys in positions to try to play.
It locks him up even closer to Jeffrey Lurie.
Yep.
And Jeffy gives him the pat. Oh, great job, Howie. Jordan Howard. Oh, that was a great call, Howie. Oh, let's just keep giving you the reins to the kingdom. Right. But then this week, if they get the doors blown off them, whose fault's it going to be? Nick Sirianni's fault. Why? Oh, you didn't play. You didn't play my boy. Right. My boy wasn't in the right offense. You did this because that's what it comes down to. I
still don't understand that concept of running you have a GM who makes game day decisions about who's on and on like that. If you're gonna tell me that I'm the coach, right? That's like me walking into a classroom, but my principal hands me the lesson plans and says, "Here's what you're going to teach."
Exactly.
Well, I don't know how to. I'm sorry, my principal. I don't know how to use. I don't really know how to use this program on the computer.
I'm not
Oh
an
well,
ELA teacher, bro. I'm sorry.
this is what you're gonna like. That to me, that's the hard part that I can't wrap my head around. But it's also, I think, the reason why they hired who they hired,
Yep.
right? Because they hired someone who was going to be okay with that. And I think what you're seeing is you're seeing a coach who may be a good coach. He may, I don't doubt that he knows and studies and dives deep into football. But I also see a guy who's young enough that he knows what his position is, and he knows that if he wants to keep that position, he can't buck the system, because if he bucks the system, then he goes out and he gets replaced and just started all over again.
Don, you couldn't have said it any better because I agree with everything you said.
There
Eagles win, so now we're going to pull the banner off.
we go.
We're just going to spitball. First, what I'm really upset with, if the reports are coming out in Sixers camp are true, that Ben is accepting no help or hasn't sought help, but found a loophole and a way to get paid, I'm going to be very, very upset. There's a lot of things that I don't forgive in this world. And it's one, being mean and cruel to other people. Two, faking mental illness because of a person who deals with mental illness, who struggles with anxiety, who has family members who struggle with mental illness, and see the effects that it can have on your family and your friends and your work and pretty much all aspects of life. I don't respect people like that. So hopefully the reports are just bullshit. But if that's true, I want that guy fucking gone, because that's just a cowardice way to look at it, especially to get paid because you're in a situation that you want to get out of so desperately, but you put yourself in. There's a lot of things I don't respect about that. For me, it's just a lie and a way to cheat the system that is unforgivable for any human standards.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you it's like the equivalent of you have a big day at work and you keep faking like people dying like all the time, and you had like 5 grandparents who died. This is worse than that. Like, I'd rather you tell me you had 5 grandparents die than for you to be like, oh, I had a mental break and I'm not seeking any help, but I'm okay now. But I just don't want to be here.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And the mental health part is so true. It's a tricky subject to kind of touch on.
It shits on other athletes, Don, who actually have mental
with everything. And just to talk about some of the guys in this city, right? To talk about guys like Brandon Brooks, about guys like Lane Johnson, who were very outwardly open about their struggles with mental illness and their abilities to be able to address it openly and say, to one, use their platform as a way to bring awareness to say, it's okay, and these are ways that you can get help. After seeing the story, I don't know if you saw the piece with Jay Glazer, the interview with Jay Glazer and Lane Johnson, and to hear him talk about his struggles with mental health so genuinely, and hear how it affected him. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a chicken. And to me, everything that I've seen with Ben Simmons, all of the facts, they don't really stack up, because it seems like you try this, it didn't work. Okay, now we're going to try this. Oh wait, we tried this and this didn't work, so we're going to try this. And it's just the consistent message with him has always been that he wants out. Yeah, and he wants out at all costs. What he doesn't realize is that he's burning every bridge that he's built in the time that he's been here. Yeah. And he doesn't realize that in order for him to get where he wants to be, which is not here, he's self-sabotaging himself. Yeah. And we don't know what the mental struggle is. We don't know if there's a mental struggle but what we can see is that the way that it's manifesting itself, you can see guys in this city that are struggling with mental health, but said, I'm going to go get help. I need to step away from the game, but I'm going to go, like Lane Johnson, hearing the fact that he, after that game, got in his car or truck or whatever, it's probably a truck, definitely not a car.
Definitely a truck.
And drove to Oklahoma. Didn't take a plane, didn't take a private jet, didn't take anything, drove because he needed time to set himself right to be able to make sure that he was able to address the mental health piece, because his goal was to get back to his team. That's not what it is here.
No.
You've seen it's basically trial and error, right? I'm going to try this. Ooh, let's see if this works. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try this. Like there are so many pieces of this puzzle that line up too well. And at the end of the day,
Agreed.
The puzzle is just a picture of him with liar across the forehead and just says like
wearing a fucking dunce cap.
Like, and I don't know what anybody's feeding him, right? I don't know what information they're feeding him, or who's his hype man and who's pumping him up and who's saying this and saying that. You don't have to do this. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that he's in a position where he's self-sabotaging anything, any reason. And Rich, not just in this city.
Any city.
He has become the laughingstock of the NBA.
He should just retire.
Now you've got other teams that are saying, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't care how good he is on the court. I don't want that on my team. I don't want this. So not only are you self-sabotaging your current position, but you are also creating a toxic environment around the league where you are not giving yourself many options for teams to take a chance on you.
Don, no truer words have been spoken. So what are we going to do? It is what it is, and I wish that guy nothing but the worst, because I am just over it. The last thing
at the end of the day, where does he live, Rich? Where do we live?
In Pettyville.
In Pettyville.
Welcome to Pettyville, bitch.
Well,
the last thing we will talk about, Chris brought it up about the situation with Henry Ruggs. It's sad. It was something that when I read today, I didn't expect to see that in the news, especially for him. I'm not going to comment too much on it, but my thoughts and prayers are with the family of the victim and the families who are going to be affected from this by this tragic accident.
Yeah.
Well, not even going to say accident, by this tragedy.
Tragedy, yeah.
It just sucks. So please, we're all human. We all make mistakes, but don't drink and drive. As much as me, Don, Nick, and Oscar will sit here and we'll have beers on the show, we're home.
We're home.
We're not driving anywhere. Like, we're just, we're safe inside our own houses and in our environment. So please do not drink and drive. The cost can be dear, not for yourself, but for somebody else's family.
The cost that it would the money that you would pay for an Uber or a Lyft
is worth
to call a buddy, or to call a family member, or to call a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or anybody.
Yeah.
Or to walk.
Call me. I'll send you an Uber. I really don't care. I will.
Listen, yeah,
if you're out late night and you're watching this show and you have my Twitter and be like, yo, Rich, I'm strapped. I need an Uber. I guarantee I'll call you an Uber. I'll send it from my phone. I promise you. Just do not drive drunk. That's the only thing that I don't want. I don't want to read the news and see a life is taken over something that could be avoided.
It's the one thing that at this point, at that level, with the amount of assets that you have the ability to be able to do that and to put it into place without even thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
you could pay somebody. If you're a professional athlete, you could pay somebody to just drive your car around.
Don, it's offered by the team. The team has services that
That's-
take you around. Because Braylon Edwards had the same thing. When Braylon Edwards kept getting
You're
DUIs,
right. Yeah.
the Jets were like, why is this happening? You keep getting DUIs, and we literally offer services to take you anywhere, anytime. You just call the number. So
All you
I don't
did
want
was
to hear. There's no excuses. There's so many things in place. I understand his career is ruined. His family's lives are ruined. The other family of the victim, they're ruined. Like, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that woman back.
No.
It's just stupid, and it was avoidable. That's why I don't like calling it an accident, because accidents just happen. This was a tragedy that could have been avoided. So, Don,
It's a shame. It's a damn shame.
And we are going to end on lighter notes, we promise you, for our final thoughts. Don, tell us,
Hey, listen.
what's going on Thursday.
Our episodes of Drunk on Ice have been a ton of fun. Last show we had on Mike from Fired Up, and we had some incredible conversations around what's going on with the Flyers and what's going on with the league. We got our next show coming up on Thursday night at 9. So we'll be tuning in right around the middle of the game against the Penguins on Thursday night. So we might get a little live action feedback from that game. But just recap that West Coast trip where and my final thought was going to be centered around the strong start to the season that we hoped was going to come from this team. And it's the one positive that I'm taking back. They're getting really good goalie play. They're getting really good attacking on the offensive end. I'd like to see them be better on the power play, but hopefully that'll come throughout the season. And it's good to have a couple of good things going on. So, it was a fun win last night from the Sixers with, literally having next to nobody and seeing, George Niang and,
Niang went off. I'm doing it for the fans. I don't want to let the fans down.
And I love Rich. I love that his nickname is the minivan. I love it. There was a joke when he was out in where was he? He was out in Utah, and Donovan Mitchell, I think, someone was calling themselves the Lamborghini, and he goes, "Well, if he's the Lamborghini, then I'm the minivan."
I love it.
But just trying to have just have fun. There's a lot of shitty stuff going on right now. So any place where you can find some happiness, find some whether it's a Christmas song, whether it's a big turkey in the middle of your Thanksgiving table, or whether it's a sporting event, whether it's whatever it is, whatever brings you happiness, just go seek that out, go find it.
Yeah, I agree. Man, my final thoughts. People, I'm gonna tell you one thing. When it comes to children, socialize your kids. Make sure your kids know simple responses when you say, "Hey, happy Halloween." They don't just look at like the person saying it. Like, try to have your kids not be face glued into an iPad. Take your kids on adventures. I'm not telling you how to parent, but I'm telling you, kids need more in life than just to be able to do schoolwork and to get by. Socialize your children, because it's kind of weird when it's you walk into a group of kids. I'm not saying where I'm at now, but just in general. And I'm like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" They all kind of and they can't answer. And it's just okay, well, how are you today? Happy Halloween. I had literally all the trick-or-treaters. Not one of them said trick-or-treat. Only 2 of them said thank you. And it was, honestly, it kind of makes me ashamed, because the parents were right there. And I'm Ollie was trick-or-treating. I made him literally walk up to houses that he didn't say thank you and happy Halloween to. He walked back up the driveway and said happy Halloween, thank you, and then came back down. And it took twice for him not to remember. for him to stop, turn around after he got his candy and say, thank you, happy Halloween. I'm not saying my child's perfect, but it's the parenting.
Start them young.
If you're giving people shit for free, say thank you. If you're knocking on somebody's door and you're taking the time to come out and say, oh, you look great in your Halloween costume. Here, take one. Thank you. Happy Halloween. Manners and shit, I will not stress. Listen, I curse like a mofo. Like I do. Like I get it. Like here's my thing. I have a potty mouth like real bad just from how I grew up. Like that's part of my environment. I can't fix that. I try to do my best. Oh my God, Don, I forgot to tell you. I'm going to tell this story because Jamie doesn't listen this far anyway. So I get Ollie out of the tub. I'm like, bro, get out of the tub. And he's like, gets out. He's like, Dad, you're a fucky. I'm like, what? I'm like, what did you say? And he goes, fucky. And I'm like, oh yeah? I'm like, you can never say that again. His like eyes started to tear up and he's like, I'm like, what did you call me? He's like, called you a poopy head. I'm like, my man. Pulled him out of the tub, got him dressed. And I'm like, he instantly forgot. Because you know with kids, you can't tell them like, that's a bad word, dude. Don't say it because he's walking around.
I love it.
Fucky, Dad, you're a fucky. Pop up, you're a fucky. He'll just be calling people fuckies. One, because he was going to say like fucking something because I knew it. Because sometimes like I'll be there, I'm like, you fucking like if like I hurt myself and like I'm cutting or like doing something in the kitchen and I stump my toe, I'll be like fucking, and then I'll say something. And that's what he was trying to say. And I knew where he got it from. So I couldn't be mad at him. But I'm like, we're just gonna nip this in the butt and be like, I'm like, no, you don't say that. I'm a poopy head. Manners, people. God. Teach.
Wow.
I'm a very please, thank you, yes, sir, yes, ma'am kind of guy. Because
it goes a long way.
Important to have manners. People,
goes a long way. Just be a good human.
Be a good human. Welcome to Pettyville, bitches, and don't be a fucky. Merry Christmas.